Polite Enquiries, Old Trafford.
It was meant to be Steve Smith.
Ollie asks, what can England do to make sure that Steve Smith can't play at the Oval?
Nothing.
They could kidnap him?
Well, why would that help? Then miss. He's inexorable, like death. He will claim us all.
He can glove a ball to the leg side and still get a boundary through the covers.
He did that today.
Sachikam asks,
Such a cam.
there's two questions here.
Okay.
Has Stephen Smith done enough now to be considered as a potential captaincy option by Cricket Australia? And Innocent asks, does having a Steve Smith in your side mean you can pick luxury players like Warner, Harris, Marnus, Head, Wade and Payne?
Like having Stokes in your side means you can pick luxury players like Root and Denley and Roy and Butler and Bairstow.
I think if anyone was creating a line of wallpaper right now, you could just have Wallpaper Smith and Wallpaper Ben Stokes.
He's a brilliant batsman, but Steve Smith wallpaper would...
Oh dear. Can you still see us? Stephen asks, maybe Specsavers will now sponsor Warner. He's got a pair of spectacles.
We could see the same about Joe Root. That's why they call him Root, because of all the zeros in his middle of his name.
Franzi asks, if the declaration was a bird, what type of bird would it be?
An irrelevant bird, because, you know, they're going to be fine. They're going to win the Ashes tomorrow.
A willow tit or a long-tailed tit? Oh dear.
Watching people looking around for the sound of crashing. Probably better than that windy thing we did the other day, to be fair.
Oh no.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
All they can see is your great pink thing anyway.
Andy asks, will Ed Smith ever be held accountable for England's recent selections? And is it time for a serious rebuild?
Ed Myth. They probably can't tell. You probably can't tell, but I just gave the camera a knowing look. Ed Myth. I thought that was enough of an answer. He's had the worst summer of everyone. I mean, he's picking Joe Denley to open the batting, nonsense. Jason Roy to open the batting, nonsense. Joss Butler, what is he, a specialist number 7? How many of those have there been in history? And we have to have a serious look at Ed Smith's position. I think he should probably go.
I think with some of them, yes, there does need to be a rebuild. I don't know from where, but somewhere. But
Of course,
also,
I can tell you now.
And
You
look-
open with Sibley.
Yeah.
You have Zach Crawley in the top 3 with Burns. You have Root at 4, where he clearly wants to be. At 5, you have Stokes. At 6, you have Ollie Pope. At 7, you have Ben Folkes. And I'm sorry, Joss Butler and Johnny Bairstow, you've got to get some runs and force your way back through strength of runs in county cricket. This is mediocre. It's not good enough. You've got one more innings to sort it out tomorrow, but I'd drop them.
interesting too to see Ben Stokes giving the pump-up talk before they went out to bowl. isn't
Probably
it?
just be captain, shouldn't he?
Matthew asks, should Australia just tell Mitchell Starc he is bowling with the second new ball at all times?
Saw the best and worst of Mitchell Starc, didn't we?
Yep.
It was the 4th test. He's just come in. He knows he's playing for his place. He's under pressure, and he has a bad couple of spells early up. You know, if he had the faith shown in him that David Warner has,
I say just let him bowl.
it's
We're almost in complete darkness right now. This is
so
terrible.
light. It's so light apart from on the camera.
I know.
Isn't it?
Spencer asks, was Matthew Wade over the top with his bants when Jofra Archer was batting? Little session between Travis Head and Jofra Archer.
How did that work for you, Travis?
Yeah, it didn't work so well for Travis.
No, it was all absolutely fine. It was completely within the bounds of what's acceptable. It was joking about. So Travis Head said something. Don't actually know what he said. And Archer said something back to him, and the next ball was his quickest ball of the match. Now, to be fair, Head hit it for 4.
And
Good
also-
shot. And the next ball after that took his middle stump. I'm not sure that you necessarily want to rile Jofra Archer.
To be fair, also, we had this discussion at the time when they had that first little discussion, and George did say, I reckon this next ball's going to be quick, and you were right. Fatima asks, Ben Stokes to bring it home with a 200 tomorrow?
You just can't keep relying on miracles, can you? I mean, he's done it several times this summer, but honestly, don't Australia deserve to win this series? They do, don't they?
You've sort of felt that they've been better than England throughout most of this series. And England
Even in the game that England won.
Yeah, and England have just had the fortitude to kind of come back.
And
to
fortune.
Get the draw. Yeah, and fortune, all of that. They've had just enough to kind of scrape in there, but it's always felt that it's England scraping to keep up with Australia.
Absolutely
And that's
right.
how it feels right here
England
now.
have got 2 or 3 really great players, and Ben Stokes would obviously get in a composite side. I don't know who else would.
Jared Kimber. Do you remember him?
No, what happened to him?
I don't know.
He could have been a contender.
What is nature's cruelest mistake? I think nature's cruelest mistake is the way that the sun goes down at night, which is why you can't see us anymore.
That man, people would be delighted by that.
Cruelest mistake. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, sorry, I can't see. Can't see it.